Hi, I'm Kelly and welcome to Cosy Reads and happy December to all who celebrate. As you can probably tell from the fact I'm sitting in front of my Christmas tree, I'm trying to get in the festive spirit right now. And I thought what better way than to start on some of the very many festive reads that I want to make my way through this month. You may wonder which of the many books that I mentioned in my TBR video I'm going to start with. There was a lot. It was quite overwhelming. I wasn't sure where to start. So I'm starting with some library books instead. I got some library loans. They came in. I was waiting for them. And I thought I will just start there and then go from that point. I am going to be reading two library books, both by Jenny Colgan, who is a Scottish author. So I'm still working towards my reading goals. I am going to be reading Christmas at the Island Hotel. I have read another book that was set at the Island Hotel. Could have been set before this book, could have been set after. I don't know. But I liked it, and I liked the Island Hotel, and it was cosy and charming, and that is all I want, is to be charmed. Okay, well, reading the blurb already, I'm going to probably cry at the beginning of this because we have a lady whose brother is mourning the loss of the love of his life and is opening a hotel. There will be more to it than that, but I'm already feeling sad for him. And the other is Midnight at the Christmas Bookshop. Again, I know I've read another at the Christmas Bookshop. It's on the back of this book. I have read just the plain The Christmas Bookshop. So, that was a really fun book. That was really cozy. Obviously I cried. It was set in Edinburgh and I remember really liking it because it felt really familiar. These, I think, are just going to be cozy, cute times that are probably going to make me cry, but I think they're going to be a really good way to start the festive reading. I'm really excited. I have made an initial start on Christmas Island Hotel. First of all, please ignore this. I've done a workout. My hair is gross. The t-shirt underneath my jumper is gross. We're going with it. It's Christmas. And as a side note, I'm doing hit miss. If anybody else follows MK Fit, she's doing like 12 days of workouts. And so far, it's really fun. The Nutcracker workout broke my legs basically, but it was good. Anyway, I've made an initial start on this book. And I am wrong. I was wrong. I said I had read a book in this series before. I haven't. I've read a book in this literary universe before, but not this series. I've read a book that followed Fiona, who is the sister of Fintan, who is the hotelier. So that's why the characters felt familiar. I already kind of know them. But if you're like me and you're starting on book 4 of a series, do not fear. There are 2 pages of character names at the beginning of the book, which I really like. Even though they're not all super relevant, it's just nice to know who is that person. That's who they are. I very much appreciate a character list. I was initially quite worried going into this book because I thought it was going to be, or at least start, quite sad. Fintan's husband has passed away. He has left a legacy, basically a hotel that he wants to just be this grand island hotel, bring, a boost to the island, and he also wants to have this big Christmas display of lights, and I thought it was going to be like quite sad, but it's not really. It's quite lovely. Everybody really loved Colton, who is the sadly departed, and it's kind of, they want to do things in his honour, and it's quite light. I thought it'd be quite sad. Fintan is, of course, he's not doing well, but nobody would really expect him to be doing well. It's a year since he lost his partner, but he is trying to get this hotel up and running. Everything's kind of been passed to his sister Fiona, who has a baby, and she's quite busy, but she is taking it in her stride and she's really invested in the hotel and she's doing a great job of getting everything going. I don't really think the hotel is the main storyline in this book. We've got a few stories kind of happening concurrently. My favourite one being surrounding a Norwegian party boy, a playboy. He is called Constantine. He is a spoiled Norwegian aristocrat who messed up one too many times, and his dad has cut him off and basically banished him to this island in the north of Scotland and got him this job in the kitchen. And Constantine does not know how to do anything. The boy doesn't know how to peel a potato. Basically peels himself. And he is very reluctant. It's sort of the kind of classic festive secret prince trope, which I gobble up. I really like. And I think that he's gonna learn that, people who work are good people and that it's nice to be able to do stuff, and maybe you don't spend all your days being a party boy. I don't know. I think he'll learn a lesson and I think it'll be quite lovely. He has this dog who I absolutely adore. His dog is a liability and I love him. We have Fiona, who she's recently had a baby and she's trying to get over her fear that she just doesn't think she's a good mum. She just thinks her partner is doing so much better than she is at parenting, and she's kind of keeping everything inside, but she is scared and she's concerned. We have a sort of secret romance surrounding other people in the island, and I really like that. I remember these characters from the other book that I read. I think it was the Seaside Cafe? No. Little Beach Bakery? Christmas at Little Beach Bakery, I think. It was definitely Little Beach Bakery. There was a bakery. There was a cake. Maybe it wasn't Christmas. It doesn't matter. It was charming. There's also a little bit of a bubbling will they, won't they as well. And I'm having such a good time. It's very cozy. It's very atmospheric. I'm loving the setting of this cute island. It's freezing. The wind goes right through you. Everybody's bundled up in their layers. There's of course going to be snow at some point and I'm going to lose my mind with joy. I'm really liking the characters and I am invested. It's like a really fun, almost Hallmark style film, which I really like. And I'm excited to go back to it and finish it. I have been very productive since my last update. I went to the Christmas, it's not even a Christmas market, the fair. I went and had a little walk around and just absorbed some of the festive spirit. But I also finished my book. I finished Christmas at the Island Hotel and I cried. I love this book. I feel like I'm maybe really super generous with my ratings with Christmas books. I gave this a 4-star. And the reason that I feel I'm a bit generous is that all I really want from a Christmas book is festive vibes. And I want to be charmed. I want to be charmed. And I was. I really love this. I feel like the blurb was a bit misleading, but in the best way, because the blurb of this book was what made me think I'm going to read this first because I don't know if I'm going to love it. It is about the opening of this hotel, which is sort of a last wish of Finton's deceased husband. I know it sounds really, really sad, but no, it's not. It's not sad. It's very uplifting, very joyful. And the whole island kind of get together with this shared goal, and it's really nice watching this hotel blossom. And in addition to that, we have a bunch of other storylines. We have, my favourite was Constantine. He is a playboy, a Norwegian playboy. And he goes through his entire Christmas movie arc of maybe there is value in learning to do basic human tasks. And there's a charming chef called Gaspar, and I say charming, he's arrogant, but in a really charming way. I didn't overly care about Fiona, her storyline, which is the struggling with being a new mum storyline, and that feels quite harsh, I suppose. But I liked her as a character. I liked all of the characters, actually. Really loved the characters. I was really invested in them, and there was smooching, and this was a kissing book. So if you want a kissing book, this is it. It's closed door though. So a kissing book that you don't have to worry about somebody reading over your shoulder and being shocked and clutching their pearls. I also realised this is book 4 in a series, and I have not read books 1, 2 and 3, but I have read a different series by this author which includes Fiona. So I felt like I already knew the village. I say village, I keep calling it a village. It's an island, a village on an island. And I felt like I already knew the characters, so I didn't mind that I had missed the death of what seemed like a really beloved kind of wacky character. I'm okay not having that story in my brain because that sounds really sad. And I feel like these books you can read out of order. I don't think you have to read them sequentially because there's nothing so big that happens that isn't going to be referenced in another book. You get a little recap, and that's what I really liked. I do feel this author kind of isn't sure how to write people who aren't her own age, I think, because I'm not super sure how old some of these characters were, but there was a character who had worked for 3 years, so I'm going to assume she was at the very least 19. She felt more like she was 15. I felt she was really, behaviour-wise, very similar to my stepkids, who are 15. And there was a character who was a new mum. And on this island, people do not mince their words. So she had just had a baby and nobody was calling her a young mum or an old mum, which means that I'm going to guess she was somewhere between 25 and 35 maybe, somewhere in that age range. And she had never heard of Instagram. I'm sorry, what? She was so I don't know. It was really kind of, I felt they really aged up this character, her behavior and her sort of technological aptitude. I don't know. It was really strange. I couldn't really fathom somebody, an adult of that age, not really being familiar with social media. It was interesting. I don't know. I have noticed before that this author does that with characters where I'm reading them thinking, oh, this person's, 62. And then turns out, oh, she's 30. And I'm like, what? Okay, shocker. But it was a good time. I wanted to be entertained. I wanted to be comforted. I wanted something cozy. This was so atmospheric. Like a really small, close-knit island with a quest to make it festive in honor of a beloved resident. What's not to love? I had a great time. I also want to give a shout out to the 2 characters in this book that made it for me. We have Agot. She is 5 and she is boisterous. She's boisterous. She's opinionated. She knows what she wants and she's definitely going to yell about it. a very adorable character that I think is just so cute because she's 5. I think that if she was, 15, 50, acting this way, it wouldn't be cute. But it's cute because she's 5 and she's compact, dressed like a little angel, and she's causing chaos with her opinions. I thought she was adorable. I also really liked that she played the angel Gabriel in their school nativity play. And fun fact, I played the angel Gabriel in my school nativity play when I thought I was 4, but I might have been 5. And we had very different experiences. Agot was loving it. She was enunciating. She was having a great time. I spent the whole time crying and shouting, "Stop looking at me," which my mum remembers fondly, while I'm there stood with the assistant who was holding like a broom with a star on top, because I couldn't carry that. I was a small child and I'm sobbing going, "Stop looking at me, stop looking at me." It was not a patch on my primary 3 performance as an elf, which my mum still talks about to this day. I stole the show. The other character I loved was called Bjark Bjarkinson. He was a Norwegian dog who in my mind looked like a big feral hog. He was like a chubby little barrel and I loved him. He caused chaos. Basically, I loved the characters that caused chaos the most. But yeah, this was adorable. A whole big gaggle of characters that I feel that this series could just go on and on and on because there are so many people to follow and I kind of do want to know what happens to the other characters. So I suppose maybe I'll have to go back in time and read books 1, 2 and 3. I don't know if there's book 5. I don't know. But I had a good time. I recommend this. It was fun. I am going to read the next book, which is this one, Midnight at the Christmas Bookshop. I have read the first book in this series, which was just the Christmas Bookshop, and I really liked it. It's about a bookshop in Edinburgh with a woman who her life kind of fell apart and she ended up being told, go and live with your very successful sister in Edinburgh and do something with your life. This is a continuation. I'm excited. I'll be back when I have read a bit of it so that I can tell you my first thoughts and feelings. I look a bit rough today. I'm really tired, but we're going with it. I'm also not wearing makeup, so let's just pretend I am. I have a snoring cat next to me. He's so cute. I was at Pilates last night, so I had a kind of later night, which is why I'm tired, because I'm still getting up early. But it's still one of the best habits that I've gotten into this year, and I felt really good. It was a good class. It's got these gorgeous massive windows, which just means that because of the early nights, like the sun is setting at 3:30, it's just, quite cozy with all of the little lamps, and it was a very chill vibe with burning muscles. I have also made really good progress in Midnight at the Christmas Bookshop. I am a little bit over halfway through. I only started reading the book last night. I feel like I definitely did. I misremembered some of the first book in the series. It doesn't matter if you haven't read the first book. There is nothing that happens in the first book that is relevant and not included in this book. We can definitely read it as a standalone. I misremembered that there was a toy shop owner. He didn't own a toy shop, it was the bookshop owner. But because he had a darling train set in the first book, I remembered it as a toy shop because train sets. In this book, we have Carmen. She is 31. She is working in a bookshop, cozy, cute, very ramshackled bookshop with a very quirky owner. He's adorable, Mr. McCready. Carmen lives with her sister Sophia and Sophia's husband and their 4 children. Sophia feels it's time for Carmen to move out. She was only ever meant to be there temporarily and she's been there for over a year, and Sophia has to go back to work. She needs to get a live-in nanny to look after, well, she's got 4 kids and she's a busy lawyer. So Carmen has to move out. Carmen moves into the bookshop above. There's a flat above the bookshop. She moves in there because the bookshop owner wants to go to an Antarctic expedition. And sure, why not? He needs the money, so she is renting the flat above. All the while, there is this horrible man. I hate him. I don't like the bits of the book that he's in. They make me very annoyed. There is a man who, he just wants to make all of the shops tat shops. In Scotland, there's a lot of shops that just sell tartan things. They've got really loud bagpipe music. Edinburgh is full of these shops. And they're all selling like things that aren't even relevant to the place where they are. Like this tat owner is selling London buses and Nessie statues. It's awful. And it's not really in the spirit of like community, which is what this street where the bookshop is has. They are a little like village of shops. It's everybody's really supportive of each other and it's very, very charming. And he is ruining everything with his noise and his he's just deeply unpleasant. I don't like him. I don't want him in the book. But I don't get to choose who is in the book. We have a little bit of a perhaps love triangle maybe happening. Carmen was dating a man called Oki, who was a student, and he is Brazilian. He gets the opportunity to go back to Brazil to do some work in the rainforest. And that's an amazing opportunity. Carmen does not see it that way. Carmen's very frustrated with their relationship being so stunted. Mainly stunted because he is a student, lives in student halls, has a roommate, not just a flatmate. He shares a bedroom, which is not something I've really known of any adult at a Scottish university doing, but he does. And Carmen lives with her sister and 4 children, so she's not exactly having an abundance of space to host. So they don't really have any privacy. And it's kind of hard for them to really have their relationship as they both would like. So they kind of have a huge argument. He goes off to Brazil and the nanny, Rudy, is very, very charming. So I'm thinking he's the other point in the love triangle. I'm halfway through the book and already I feel like not a lot has happened. Like I have my antagonist in the form of this horrible man who just wants to, boss babe everything. The cat's ears are twitching. This is very entertaining for me. But yeah, I feel like I'm kind of waiting for the book to begin. I'm going to probably finish the book tonight. I don't know. My hair is a mess. Can we just pretend that I did my hair and makeup for this video? I didn't, but I've been up since 5. And I did a workout yesterday and I'm ever so tired. I will be back very soon with an update. I do not have much of this book left to go. And I really kind of want to know what's going to happen. Something has to happen, right? I have been productive. I've also realised that I have filmed every single update in this for this video in my living room. The lighting sucks at this time of year, so this is the room that has the best lighting. I know. It's not the best, but it's the best that I have. And I kind of like being near the tree. It makes me very happy. I'm just back from being out in the world. I met a friend for, I was going to say coffee. I didn't have coffee. I had a spiced cider, but like not alcoholic. So just like a mulled spiced apple tea. And it was delicious and it was very warming. And I had a ginger cream biscuit. So just 2 ginger biscuits with like cream in the middle. Amazing. I brought home a brownie for my boyfriend as well. And he said it was great. Town is very, very atmospheric. and it's getting nice and cozy and festive, and it makes me very happy. Anyway, let's get on to the book. I have finished Midnight at the Christmas Bookshop, and I'm ending it with a 3.5 stars. Maybe I'll round it up to 4 on Goodreads, but it's 3.5. I liked it, but I didn't love it. After my last update, OK ends up getting malaria in Brazil. He's really unwell. He's asking for Carmen, and his friend Mary is like, yeah, I'm gonna go and tell Carmen. But Mary is in love with OK, and she doesn't. And she's getting really intense. She keeps calling him like, oh, my darling, oh, my love. And I'm like, I don't know how cool I'd be with somebody. No, come on. He needed to let her down gently. He couldn't have been that oblivious. I felt like I just spent the majority of this book waiting for something big to happen. And nothing big happened. And that could be the cute, cozy community vibes. But it just felt like, you know, when you read a book and you go, yep, that was a book. It's like, this feels very topical. It's like the Pantone colour of the year, where you wait to find out what it is. And really, my only reaction was just, yep, well, that's something. I have nothing to say. It was fine, but I felt like I just really wanted Carmen to learn something, to grow up a smidgen, just a tiny, teeny little bit, to think of other people. And she kind of did, but every time she thought of other people, it was truly from a selfish perspective. And I just didn't find myself warming towards her as much in this book as I did in the last book. In the first book, she was still selfish. She was still immature. She still really needed to grow up, but she was a very protective aunt, and that made her quite endearing. But the children didn't really feature too much in this book, so you didn't get to see that side of her. And I just found myself wishing this book had a little bit more bite, a little bit more substance. There were a lot of really fun moments, and there was a moment with a Christmas film was being made at the bookshop in the summer. That was a very short storyline, but then we circled back and they came back for a little release party. And I liked how ridiculous the film was. And it was a sort of tongue-in-cheek nod to the whole bunch of films that take place in Scotland and they don't pay attention to anything like geography or accents, anything like that. And you'll have, you know, somebody in Edinburgh talking about, oh, there's Loch Ness. You're like, no, there's not. It's not in Edinburgh. It's hours away. Lots of interesting takes on accents. So that was quite funny. I cackled a little bit. But it was fun. It was cozy. It was cute. It was very cute. I cried. Of course I cried. My heart was warmed, and that's kind of all I really ask for. So a very short kind of wrap up for this book, because there was nothing really to add. It was a book. I had a nice enough time. There wasn't really that much that happened, which is weird because it's like 350 pages. More should have happened, but it didn't. So I've read 2 Jenny Colgan books in this week, and they were both fun times. They were both delightful. They were both charming. I cried at both of them, and they were both festive. So overall, a win. But if I had to pick a favourite, it would be Christmas at the Island Hotel. I want to read the whole series, even though that means that I know a character is going to die. So I'm going to meet him and go, you are not long for this world, Colton. But I will love him, and then I will cry. I've read the entire series of this book. There's only 2. I checked. I am going to finish up the video now. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, bye.